Nitro goes through as well, and Space is taken out. The first frag of the grand finals. It belongs to Nitro. He gets a second. If we find a third, no. Zosa will deny him. Jet will find one of his own. It's 3-2 here in round one already. Another kill could come through. Jet will find his second. It's gonna leave Cheese Boss all by himself. Aggressive peek. Sees the gunfire coming off of. It looks like it will be Jet for the third. And Akron make quick work of the Bearcats.
It was looking really good there, especially, like I mentioned before, a player like Nitro, the caliber she's risen to all across the semester, getting two fabulous open picks, but Akron's so good on the recovery. Even though it was a close one, it will be Akron taking that first round.
Great start for Akron. I mean, again, obviously coming here on border, not exactly Cincinnati's best map this season. Obviously, we talked about that last grand final. But Akron have chose to go border for, I believe, almost every single series in this bracket. I was taking a look earlier. It's been a little bit since they've played border. This team's been more of a chalet cafe type of group, but border's normally stayed in the map pool, or it's been first ban by their opposing teams. And Cincinnati maybe calling the bluff a little bit, putting faith in themselves, again, after mentioning that previous grand final. But it's been a long time. It's been about 4 months to be exact, almost to the day, since that last grand final was played, and Akron showing their differences and showing their improvements thus far.
5 seconds left.
I've gotten to see some Akron shenanigans on border this semester, though, I will admit. It was during the second set of Queen City Clash qualifiers, where it was Akron up against an Ohio State mixed team, having some current players, some graduated players, and the goal Akron had at that map was to let Ohio State plant the diffuser and then practice their retakes during a qualifier. So that's the amount of discipline, that's the amount of field experience Akron is looking to take to this grand final. So maybe we'll see some magic once they switch over the defense. But we do have Space with an interesting problem to solve. Does spot Duck on drone. We're by that mezzanine side now. Going back in the break room. Surrendering the Space just a little bit. But no real movement on the map here yet, TJ.
We've casted Cincinnati very recently, and on this defensive side, it was against Arizona State the last time they saw this border map. And of all the players to show up, Gilly hadn't showed up just yet, but we talked about maybe the start of the downfall, potentially highest being the top fragger in these playoffs, and it was Nitro coming in instead, who she has been incredible so far in these playoffs. I mean, easily, if you don't pick her first as your watch-out player because Gilly's in, then easily next up. And I'm excited to see thus far what could happen. And it looks like Duck will get his first here and will get to rotate off as well. And as I mentioned her, Nitro finds one on Jobu.
It's surprising how lazy that clear over by mezzanine was to clear out Duck. Normally you would have to want more support, especially not have the hard breacher going first, but now Akron have to operate with no hard breacher, no Cali to take advantage of all these long horizontal angles opened. And they might have it hidden that Cheese Bots are sitting in break room short, but they still need the manpower required to clear him out. Not to mention we're approaching minute on the clock. As we just saw, he gets to run off scot-free. Akron now has break room control, but the time is looking very dangerous right now, TJ.
Minute left. Akron at the disadvantage. Still some room to work and a decent amount of utility as well, but not when you lose two back-to-back. Plexios will try to find a way around. I'm not sure if there's going to be a lot of room and break to make anything happen. A lot of floors, or a lot of vertical opened up, I mean. They're aware there's a...
Both rosters may have changed. It's been a whole season. That strat work they did all the way back then still works beautifully even now.
Evened up for Cincinnati. Granted, obviously it is on second floor. You would hope that Cincinnati could, at the bare minimum, go even up there. And now we'll rotate down to see exactly what Bathroom Tellers has for us. Again, Cincinnati love this rotating Scopos pick. We didn't see Gilly, again, when they did play border before, but this rotation, the Aruni, the Scopos, and then obviously Duck making his way around with the shotgun, we can expect to see those players hopefully find impact frags, not to mention Nitro wherever she decides to play. I really have no idea. Again, like, it's a positive wild card with somebody like her on the roster. But on the other side of things, Akron, Pretty standard setup so far. We haven't gotten to see a Monty in a hot minute in the games that me and you've casted together, Botanic, and it looks like we are going to see that ace switched out. Zosa will be the one with defuse and the shield.
Yeah, I mean, this is just a pretty standard pocket play setup here for Akron. We got to see a lot of these during the Cumberland JMU and Cumberland Utah match, but just it would be Monty Shield looking to plant over by Archive's window. You have supporting operators in the form of Jobu over the Glass, Jet over on the Sens, and most likely just smoke, plant Sens, hold the angle long with the grenades, and Jobu over on that Glass. And while those smokes do pop, it still is Duck close with some smokes of his own, ready to contest as soon as you hear that planting sound. But so far, all quiet on the western front for the side of Akron. Maybe looking to clear out some picks first, clear out as much utility from the side of Cincinnati as possible, as Kosa already in a firefight and finds his first victim in the form of Gilly. Tried to hide over under that break room desk. However, Kosa, he's been here so many times, he's seen these tricks before. Not going to get that one over him. Gilly will be falling first for the side of Cincinnati.
Gilly going to call Kosa a freak as well in all chat. That is not surprising to say the least. Cincinnati, though, showing out with decent confidence until they lost two defenders back-to-back. Not to mention Duck has just gone down as we talk about it. Akron's got a lot of room to work, have basically cleared all but the final objective, unless maybe we see some magic come out of a rotate. It looks like that it could come in the fashion of Highest, but he gets spotted from across the way. And now it's going to be up to Nitro and Cheese Boss, and there's a lot of utility in the hands of the Zips. Peaks are going to start here. Shield is still in hand as well. Also another stun, another smoke, and 2 frags in the hands of every Akron player. Space finds his second of the round, and now it just leaves Cheese Boss, who's already low as is, shooting, giving away position, can't see a dang thing, looking for a player, but why would Akron push? They're not worried. It's a 5v1. Plant goes down, and Cheese Boss gonna need something magical here.
Yeah, Akron so disciplined. Even when they secured the man advantage to a crucial operator like Smoke, it was still, they're trying to clear out Highest, they're trying to leave no loose ends, and they get rewarded beautifully, as even though Cincinnati got a flawless round previous, now they respond to the flawless of their own.
It's a great setup from the Sens of Akron as well. It's that level of coordination, clearing out all of second floor, and then doing whatever you want there in the open lobby. That right there is going to be the key for Akron. Obviously, we are aware that they are the more, I will say, practice, more calm, more composed team because they have shown it not only in collegiate play but outside of that as well. And strategy-wise, we're seeing it thus far. Granted, it is a best of 5, and we have a long way to go before we're anywhere near the end of tonight's stream. But again, Akron on the attacking side off to a pretty good start, and I would imagine, Botanic, if we see them pick up this round, maybe things start leaning towards a 4-2 attacking half, then they're going to be in good shape on their own map pick.
Yeah, I mean, Akron already doing really well picking up these 2 rounds. A lot of people recognize Border as a more defender side of the map, especially how close quarters it is, how much, all the prep time the defenders have to set up all these crazy angles. It's a nightmare to attack up against the right team. In this case, Cincinnati have the idea, sure, but they're going to need to stop this Akron momentum as soon as possible.
Gilly 0-2 thus far through 3 rounds. Probably the second impact player you look to on this Bearcats roster, especially playing a roamer like Skopos as well. Would love to see Gilly make a bigger impact and not die to something crazy. A good idea on the spawn peak, but of all the schools to play in these playoffs, Akron more than prepared for that one, spreading out, trying to find their first lane of attack. Also, Duck rotating down below on main stairs as well. Only 2 members of the Cincinnati side will be playing first floor. Or now 3 as Nitro rotates down. Drone does go down. The Jet at least got control of a few items first.
Yeah, 1 BP in the middle of sight is definitely going to be great for information so Akron could identify a possible gap. But right now, they're just taking it slow. These roamers from Cincinnati so dangerous, especially with somebody like Gilly on the board. You have to figure out where he is first. Not to mention the fact, like you mentioned before, TJ, it is him playing Skopos, so you could potentially be at 2 places at once if he plays his cards right. But less than 2 minutes now, and Duck with a potential C4 going to be coming in through that security door, but is that Archives breach now open? Gives Highest a bit of a useful angle to play, especially from this mirror window over by small office, but still no action on either side yet. Akron showing a lot of interest towards this armory side.
90 seconds to go. No major frags just yet. This is favoring Cincinnati to play the lives, and especially Gilly, who gets to switch bodies completely and maybe find a different setup, a safer setup. But also, you can see that Akron, through the X-ray, is starting to stack up towards B. Smokes are coming out. No glass to worry about, but still a lot of utility in the hands of Akron. Duck goes through the barricade. Knows there's one close. Will rotate around, but Jobu and the entire Akron side will clean the entire floor with the bodies of Cincinnati.
Yeah, a wonderful rush there from Akron, just overwhelming Cincinnati. They weren't in the right positions at the right time, and even then, their moves were expected. Jobu, clean cut on that first kill over by the archives window, and Gilly, unfortunately, just doesn't hit the spray. Instant kill there, right there for Jobu. Beautifully done from Akron. The Zips claiming their third round and already looking on pace to secure a round advantage over Cincinnati at the end of the half. Cincinnati only 2 more chances to tie this up to a 2-2 split. I mean, 3-3 split.
Close enough. It's the start of a very long night, so hopefully we'll be ready to go by the end of this map, because I would hope we're in for a long one here, Botanic. I mean, again, last season in Stage 1, there was a full 5-map grand final. I know that the odds of that happening are not exactly any higher or better than they were for Cincinnati, but if they can defy them once, they can defy them again. And this right here is probably Cincinnati's first major turning point. They're going to head back up to second floor, and we're going to see if they can get back on track to potentially pull maybe a Bathroom Teller's win out, or Workshop. I'm not sure which one they'd prefer, granted that they've struggled on both, but either way, Akron, they come in no matter what the time frame is, and they're playing to their pace. We're not seeing a whole lot of forcing roaming plays from Cincinnati, and all that I mean by that is making Akron awkward, making them uncomfortable. I mean, Collegiate R6 has been very good to Akron. I mean, they've only dropped, I think, 1 map, and we mentioned on the last broadcast, Botanic, I believe it was Utah who did get that 1 map. And since then, Akron has, and even before that, was perfect. And it doesn't look like that's going to change anytime soon, because Cincinnati's got to find that pressure in some capacity.
Yeah, it does seem, though, as well. Akron gearing up for another pocket play. They don't want to play into what Cincinnati already knows them for, especially with how inconsistent the roster has been all throughout the semester. They're banking on Cincinnati not being ready, not having any protocols to deal with any sudden changes in the pace of the match, and this might be the case for it. The jump out coming out, and will Gilly instantly fried. Kosa securing the plant, Plexios holding the smoke, holding the cross. But so far, nobody on Cincinnati even close enough to add pressure. Those flames not helping either. And then the numbers from Cincinnati just dwindling all around. No C4 available for highest. I mean, Nitro. And these angles just being so cruel to Cincinnati right now. 2 versus 5. They have to work this through. The Monty's still up as well. It's not going to happen. They get harassed from every angle. Flames flying out as well. 1 person left remaining. Nitro left to claw back anything or face another flawless round by Akron. 16 seconds left to defuse this. Nothing going their way. Maybe a 1v1 with the shield could help. But so far, it will be Kosa turning around, but still, Jet unfortunately gets fried. A little bit of a shenanigans right there, and that forced out the timeout from Cincinnati Red.
I mean, get your 1, at least, right? Save the stats if you're going to lose this map in a potentially dominant fashion. And for Cincinnati, this is, in my opinion, probably a perfect spot for a timeout. I don't think this is 1 round too early or 1 round too late, as now it's going to be 4-1, and it's feeling eerily similar. Again, I have to bring up the border of previous. I believe it was Cincinnati who took the first side on defense in last season's grand final. It was 5-1. So Akron on the verge of potentially doing that to Cincinnati. What do you even talk about here in this 45 seconds?
I mean, really, all you can do is reset mentally. That's all you can do. You know this opponent. You've faced them multiple times, not only across different semesters, but in these 2 matches in the current season during CR6 Premier regular stage. It was a 7-2 on Cafe, and I believe a 7-0 over on Clubhouse. So you faced the opponent multiple times. Daniel himself said he really doesn't think anything has changed in Akron's playbook from one semester to the next. It's all about just being coordinated on the same page. Like I said before, this is why Akron is bringing out these pocket plays. They don't think Cincinnati has the protocols to deal with any sudden shifts of what they already know. And, well, so far, they're proving that correct.
There's a lot of firsts that I'm seeing with Cincinnati's defensive half here on map 1. First of all, Gilly and Cheeseboss are finding I'm going to use the word struggles, but I don't think it does justice to how well Akron has played around them. Obviously, both a combined 0 and 8. And yes, their util with the Mirror and Legion picks have been useful, but they are not exactly on this team to just be util players. I mean, especially Gilly. You would expect him to be finding some pretty absurd frags. I mean, again, this season he's at a 1.73 KD. It's 19 and 11 to be exact. Not a lot of games to go off of, but Gilly's normally that type of player who can show up and make a difference. And also Highest as well. One of the bigger things that I've noticed is that, yes, maybe the chat ego stays the same, but his physical ego, his peaking, that ego is nowhere to be found. And that goes back to my point about the pressure off site that Cincinnati can't generate. Not sure if anything major is going to change for them. I mean, the smoke pick from Duck has been the same, but it hasn't normally been useful because he's died early. We'll see what intel Akron can gather, though, and we'll see how Cincinnati decide to play around it.
Cheese Boss momentarily revealing themselves, rotating over into CCTV. However, will be space falling first as it is Highest, navigating around that 90 side, especially with those barricades already popped down, opening the line of sight for him to really peak. But now, receiving a lot of pressure over into break room, exposing himself to so many potential angles. No choice but to sacrifice utility, even from down below. Duck is receiving so much pressure, and now he finally falls at the 2-minute mark. We sit here at a 4v4, TJ.
2 minutes to go, and Akron already finds an even trade. Again, Akron, it hasn't really seemed to matter how many players are left because they are all so similar in skill. Yes, you have players like Jet who maybe stick out a little more like a sore thumb, but all of these players are extremely talented, and now they're showing they can work together and do even more incredible things. But Highest finally having his moment, finding 2 this round. Playing decently aggressively between Armory, trying to maybe find one more down the hallway. Plexios does find one, though. That's a big frag on Nitro as well. Now Cheese Boss and Gilly each looking for their first. Have decent angles to play as well, but Gilly's going to be in an awkward spot. Could see maybe an attempt to tuck away, but I would imagine he's going to be visible, and he is indeed. Sosa will try and find room. Cheese Boss does get his one, though. It's 2-2. Cincinnati, a very great chance to come out of the timeout successful, but they've got to even the playing field. There's going to be a soul read from Highest, but no connection on the bullets of the UMP. Akron finally deciding to enter in over on offices. Plexios, though, still a little further back, not helping out just yet. Sosa by themselves is aware there's one behind the cabinets here. Legion Mine goes out, revealing the location. Still 30 seconds left. Cincinnati has time, but have to play their live. Cheese Boss, not a lot of health really remaining. Highest is holding the wrong angle. I'm not even sure if they know that there's a player there. I mean, now it's undeniable. You can hear the audio. Cheese Boss trying to find a wall bang. Highest, one rotating his way as well, and he is going to find one. Cheese Boss and Highest have to be careful here. They got to work together. Bulletproof Cam will spot him for the time being. Zosa will try to clutch up by his lonesome, finds one, will find the second, and Akron pulls that one out of nowhere, and that's going to be 5-1, I believe.
Nail in the coffin for Cincinnati's defensive half. It was set up so well. The BP even. But Kosa, such a consistent player, such a tenured player in Collegiate R6, able to completely dismantle that 2v1 situation, claiming the Zips their 5th round. Cincinnati very much on the back foot coming into their attack, DJ.
At this stage of the playoffs, I would even make this argument for the Elite 8, let alone the Grand Finals. Those cannot be misses from Cincinnati. They cannot be messed up plays, and unfortunately for them, you have to take it on the chin. Again, it is a best of 5, and there's a lot left for Cincinnati. We haven't even gotten to their map pick yet, but man, that is a tough one to let go, especially with the timeout being used. And now Akron, a simple 2 rounds away from getting this one done and dusted.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see Cincinnati's attacking philosophy over here on Border. I mean, a lot of these players did play consistently throughout the season together. This roster we're seeing right now, even outside of Collegiate, it was a roster of, I believe, Duck, Highest, I think Cheese Boss and Nitro were playing, or maybe Cheese Boss and Pup. They did play over in the Challenge League Qual number 2. They had a lot of reps, especially on maps like Border all throughout the qualifiers, and I'm hoping that experience can carry over into a better attacking philosophy here, as Akron is so powerful right now. Even throughout the close situations, they just seem to have the upper hand over Cincinnati.
Well, let's see. How can Cincinnati try and get that hand back? I'm loving the sends in the glass for the time being. Akron, though, you can see making holes, going to make things awkward for Duck to try and enter in here. But also not a singular Akron player there. So this ghost pressure is something that Akron really shouldn't be getting away with if you're a Cincinnati fan. In the meantime, though, Cheese Boss has worked his way up. Looks like we're going to see a Monty plan. It will be an early one. Nitro's in the hands of Zosa. It doesn't look like it's going to land just yet until now. And Cheese Boss goes down after a slight delay on that throw. We'll see another kill from Jobu across the back of the site here. And Cincinnati failing on their first plan. Can they try and save it with a two-man disadvantage?
Yeah, I mean, Cincinnati, the idea was there. You know, a simple little pocket play, try and get some cheese, try and build some rounds. But the setup just too good from Akron. That C4 beautifully lands on Cheese Boss, and with Monty down, there goes the main crux of the attack. Instantly weakened. And Duck, I mean, I'm assuming it's Jobu, who swung from an over on small off his side, completely shreds him with the SMG-12. Now Cincinnati left in a 3 versus 5 situation. Sure, over a minute left, but these operators aren't looking too kind for it. I mean, a glass with no smokes, that's like butter with no toast.
Also, Gilly with no kills. And yes, there is 2 stuns in his hands, but I'm still concerned about the long-term performance in this series. And Space aware there is one behind them trying to rotate around, but it's all just slow plays. Highest in a very awkward spot, is aware that there's one close, but is running out of options. Gilly gets one. This needs to be a pick right here. Highest gonna be able to run directly through, though, and find their way upstairs. On the east side, finding room over with Highest. That's a lot of damage. Nitro trying to hold some counter peeks, and Gilly doing their own thing on the other side. But again, time is ticking for Cincinnati. Can they find maybe some Akron-level heroics late in the stand here? Stuns go out. We'll see an attempt. Nitro finds one. Will tip the scales even now. Cincinnati has a dying chance. Or not a dying chance, I won't say that, but has a lot of breath left. Gilly. Drone will go through to try and at least get intel while potentially forcing a player to rotate out. It is spotted. Highest can't find any major damage, though. Here comes the big push through offices. Pete comes through. Zosa finds one. Does he find a second? No! Highest and Nitro find 2. It's a 2v1 for Cincinnati on the verge of something special, unless Space has anything to say about it, but he's muted by Cincinnati, and it's unconventional, but the 3v5 is converted.
Beautifully converted from the side of Cincinnati right there. All that they could really do was work the picks. Unfortunately, they found someone lurking over by Archive's side. Bang. They had those stuns in the pocket to flood out the person over by break room. Bang. And from there, a 3v3. At that point, you just have to play the trade game. You have to play together. No access to drones in such a short amount of time was a hindrance. But when they play the trade game, even on these close angles like Canadian, like Fountain, it's all just about securing that refrag. Cincinnati did so beautifully, securing their second round. Now Akron going to be seemingly, yes, they will be repeating that top 4 site. I mean, sure, that was maybe just a small mistake from them. They still have plenty of round economy left to close this out proper, but Cincinnati at the very least building some rounds in their favor.
We almost got a triple bang from Botanic on map 1. I can only imagine what's left for the rest of this series, which so far seems like it could deliver. Cincinnati has a distant chance of potentially making this map interesting. Again, not to mention that obviously there is still way too much time left in the night to make any early assumptions. We didn't even lay down predictions before we hopped into this map, but I guess we'll save that for after the fact, because Akron will be setting up once again. It looks, I mean, obviously here on second floor, but we'll see what is Cincinnati going to pull out this time. Monty from Cheese Boss will come back out. I would be shocked to see another smoke plant idea, but it isn't a terrible idea if they can at least get the execution down. When Akron pulled it just a few rounds ago, obviously that entry frag freed up a Nitro and allowed for Cincinnati to, or not Cincinnati, for Akron to get in there easier. That's what Cincinnati has to do.
They still have the default cam outside.
Oh, I didn't even see they didn't take that down.
This is a massive amount of information available to the side of Akron. This could be a huge oversight.
Well, it looks like they're going to oversee it, Botanic. Akron just not worried. I mean, if they do have all of that, and the bulletproof cam right there as well, I would imagine that the entire side and positioning of Cincinnati has been given away. Granted, though, the Grim from Duck, I like this pick, but it's going to be hard to find the long angles for those Bs to get out from here. It will at least force Zosa to play in the backside of offices. A safer spot for them, but unless we can see Cincinnati make it more awkward, make it more dangerous. Alexios not concerned, though, in a very awkward spot. Has the Monty come right up to his doorstep. Jet will find a frag on the other side, and on Gilly once again. The Monty shield is retracted for a potential frag. We'll see if it's an attempt, though. It looks like a melee battle. Plexios will win it. Jet finds the counter peek as well, and Plexios finds another one. He's gonna find the third! And the turns from Akron are absolutely incomprehensible.
Yeah, and that's the true power of that break room setup. When you have your supporting pieces around you to look through the horizontal destruction, I mean, you can pretty much fry anybody wanting to run at you. And when you have misplays on the Monty like Cheese Boss did right there, I mean, it makes it exponentially easier for a person like Plexios to pop off.
Match point for Akron, who so far, so good. Things going to plan. Even to the point where in all chat, they're firing back. I know the Desh talked about potentially seeing Akron muted, or muting all chat. Not one to worry about it, but I'm liking the confidence from Akron. There's probably a little bit of vengeance still remaining from that fateful night in December when Cincinnati was able to upset them the first time, and they're really not trying to let that happen again, Botanic. Let's see what Bathrooms has in store.
Yeah, they're definitely going to be relying on this castle once again to cut up these areas of the map so they can basically determine what angle Cincinnati plays into. It's going to require utility from the side of Cincinnati to truly open up the map fully. Will be Cheese Boss seemingly switching off the Monty. I mean, Brothers going 1-7. It's match point now. It's time to throw out the strat book and just go with feeling. But 6-2, it's going to be a very tricky deficit for Cincinnati to claw their way back from.
You want to talk about playing with feeling. I mean, again, I'm still looking at Gilly's stat line, and it is still just as worrying as it was a few rounds ago, even with the additional kill added on. It's just not unconventional, but it's uncoordinated from a player as skilled as Gilly, and also the entire Cincinnati side where they're not able to cover each other, they're not finding picks or trades off each other, and it's a messy situation. And now in the meantime, Highest once again peeking, slight ghost pressure. We may see a peek come out, but Akron in no rush, maybe with slight confidence, is going to be Zosa, who's able to rotate away with no worries. So that's going to be a major time waster that Cincinnati is going to be staring out. I don't think they saw Zosa leave, or maybe Zosa just fired a few and then it maybe let them know now. But either way, Cincinnati is trying to find some room, but there is still a lot of players to clear here up on second floor.
Yeah, it's this border roam clear. Going to be one of the trickier parts if Cincinnati elects to take it. I'm sure if they do decide to just hit a site directly, Akron more so has some backup plans. Lots of vert made. They do have Jet over by the hatch, but it does seem like they will be opting for the more traditional clear. They do arrive about a minute 40 left on the clock. And Akron ready from it from all sides. So many deep angles looking into the archive side. Like I mentioned before, Jet also has access to the teller's window from outside from the hatch. Akron pretty much every possible angle covered. It's just up to Cincinnati to drone this out, to slowly flood out these Akron defenders. But with about a minute 20 left on the clock, is going to look really risky right now, TJ.
A minute 20 left. Akron has been in a similar spot before, and then they managed to almost eliminate the entire Cincinnati team with one sweep of the broom. That's also going to be a symbol that they're going to see hopefully in 2 maps if you're a Zips fan, but they got to get this round first. Cheese Boss will deny the first. That's Zosa down. Space takes a lot of damage as well. Does see one, gets a free kill on Highest. Might be able to find another as well, but the pre-fire from Cheese Boss comes through, finding 2 major frags to give Cincinnati some room. Alexios finds one that's going to make everything even once again. Still a lot of second floor drama to be handled, and Jet gets a free one on Nitro. Jet will be found, though, by Cheese Boss again. It's a quad kill. Is there an ace, potentially? The 1v1 is at the hands of Cheese Boss, and the R4C doesn't see him, but Jobu whiffs completely, and Cincinnati has life off the 5-man ace.
That's the Cheese Boss. I mean, this guy came from Cincinnati Academy. In a semester alone, he worked his way up to I don't even think he was on Cincinnati Black. I think he went straight from Cincinnati Academy to Cincinnati Red. He beat Akron the first time, and by God, that fire is still inside of him a semester later. Ace clutch. Well, ace for him. to take Cincinnati 1 round longer, extend their lives over on border. I mean, Jobu, astonishing miss. That kill should have been dead to rights. But as a Cincinnati fan, I'm not complaining. Cincinnati, though, still a massive mountain left to climb, as it is ventilation vents for the side of Akron.
You don't have to be a Cincinnati fan to call it like you see it. That is a pure whiff with the SMG-11 directly by the door frame. I mean, we're talking maybe 2 operators' lengths right there laid down from each other with the SMG. That is a huge whiff coming out from Akron. Granted, though, they do still have some wiggle room, but of all the teams, I mean, obviously there's only 2 left, but even if you had your free pick of all the teams that you wouldn't want to give momentum late on in map 1, especially your map pick, it's by far Cincinnati, who, if they can find this round, I'm sure we're going to see the trash talk increase. And what a turnaround from Cheese Boss as well, who was previously 0-4, has turned around to make it a 6-7 run. Can we potentially see that change from Duck or Gilly as well?
Lots of roamers here for the side of Akron, but maybe Cincinnati no intention to clear them, as it will be Cheese Boss giving the bomb. I do see a Capital as well. This could be a very fast direct glance, but dodging vertical is not going to be on the cards for Cheese, as once again he falls planting his Monty. This vertical play just too good for the side of Akron. Now the pressure's on. They do have a person sitting right in front of that armory wall, but when will he swing? His presence is known. In the meantime, Gilly getting active. 2 minutes left on the clock here. TJ High is still outside. Gilly somewhere in the map right now still. The dominance for Akron is upstairs. And even if they try and go for this plant once again, you're still going to be directly under the gun of Akron. Surely they don't let them get away with this one. Why would you go for the plant there? Now a 3v1. Gilly required to get an ace to extend play on border, TJ.
Yeah, that is an extremely confusing decision coming out from Cincinnati. And now the location of Gilly has been revealed. You're going to need something special. Back-to-back aces would be almost unheard of here, especially in a grand final. But Gilly, I mean, of all the players you would pick for Cincinnati, I would like their odds. 90 seconds left, too. Not a lot of intel, but also the entire side of Akron is on second floor. 1 at a time for Gilly and Capital. See if this first player can be sniffed out to tight angle, but now the rotation could come out. It looks like it's going to be Space, who actually will come back. Akron really in no rush. They've got Diffuser and Gilly. I'm surprised they're not going to rotate yet. Capital will try to clear some room. Space takes a little bit of damage. Running through a soft wall was not the move. And that right there is how Akron wraps this one up with a bow.
Like a book, says Space.ua. And honestly, I agree with them. A lot of the responses Akron had over by their defending side were beautifully done. Even on the attacking side, those pocket plays were performed so well for Akron Esports. That is a well-deserved 7-3. It was looking interesting at points for the side of Cincinnati, sure, but Akron just more experience with this current roster together this semester alone. So many great feats done this semester. And honestly, I'm looking a little worried for Cincinnati, but that was Akron's map pick.
Yeah, I mean, there's, again, best of 5. It's not best of 3. We've got a lot left and a lot of Cincinnati confidence still left on the table and a lot of trash talking and maybe more unconventional decisions left to go. And I'm right there with you. It's not foreign to say that Cincinnati are still in this, but again, I keep bringing it up because it's a genuine shock. The fragging potential of half the roster there struggled until the back 3 rounds, and that just can't happen. You can't start slow against maybe what would be the unanimous best team in all collegiate R6 with not a lot of questions.
It's not a maybe, TJ. That's just a hard fact. I mean, once again, their record is, who knows at this point, a 1. I mean, you really can't argue about GOAT status when it comes to Akron, and Akron cementing their desire to finally, after 3 semesters in a row, claiming their CR6 chip that has eluded them.
Well, Botanic, before we send it to a very short break, we're going to Cincinnati's map pick next, which is Consulate. And so I'll very briefly ask you for this. How much faith do we have in Cincinnati making the series 1-1?
I mean, Border was just a game of coordination and gun skill. Consulate is a game of planning and gun skill, and I trust Duck to have done his homework very well, so I'm hoping and expecting maybe a Cincinnati 8-7. It's going to be hard-earned against Akron, that's for sure, but I do think Bearcats can take it.
Okay, well, hard-earned is the name of the game. It's a best of 5, it's the grand finals, and it's going to be the conclusion of the CR6 season. But we're going to get back to that in just a little bit. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to this wonderful analytical desk we have here. That was quite an insane matchup we just had on Border, as we saw Akron take a convincing 3-1 lead. Finn, I believe you have some key takeaways that Cincinnati needs to do to improve on.
I mean, yeah, so for starters, let's look at Akron. Their attacking side, they ended up going 5-1, and the only round that they lost was whenever Cincinnati was being aggressive on the Mez in order to kill the ace who was creeping up on him. So it seemed like on attack, Akron, they were focused on working around the map and looking for free space that was given to them. So they tried to avoid the aggressive plays from people like Gilly. Even whenever he put the mirror window on the detention wall, Akron saw it. They chose, hey, we don't even need to worry about it right now. We can just avoid it. He's not really applying much pressure to us. And then they just took other space around the map. So it seemed like the mindset that Akron had going into this map was to take the space that was given to them and ignore the roamers. And I think that really hurt Cincy because their setups were so roam focused, and then whenever Akron threw switch ups like hitting the site directly, the roamers didn't even have enough time to rotate back, and they didn't have the utility to. In one of the rounds where Akron planted inside of Archives, they only had one nitro cell in order to stop the Archives plant. If that nitro cell doesn't land, there's no utility other than using your gun in order to kill the players who are planting inside of Archives. And then whenever looking at Cincy, even though it was a 7-3, it was Akron's map pick. There were a few things that I really liked seeing from them. Their initial push on Archives on their first attack with the Monty and the Sense, it ended up failing because of the Nitro Cell from the Mute inside of back Archives. Instead of all trying to just make solo plays around the map. They stuck together. They made team plays in order to win the round. For example, Gilly was able to flash the castle inside of Break Room, and then Nitro was able to swing and get that kill. Those are the team plays that I love to see, and since he shows that they're capable of doing that, so that's what I want to see more going into the next map.
Yeah, wonderful little bit there. Wacko, I'm gonna send over to Wacko, our stats man here. He will be covering Akron first, I believe. Or we have Akron and Cincinnati. Wacko, take it away.
Yeah, I mean, you can see the score line there, and pretty expected stats on both sides. The two players I really want to highlight, I mean, Gilly was going 3-9 there, and Cheese Boss 6-8. He did have one round where he aced, so I mean, apart from that round, I mean, the KD not really impactful. So, I mean, from Cincinnati right there, I mean, they just need to start like playing more together, and they just need to focus in on what they're doing, like their strats, and less on just trying to like get that opening pick. Because fun fact, they actually got 6 out of 10 rounds they got the entry pick, and it didn't, clearly from the scoreline you can see that it didn't really have an effect. They just don't utilize that entry pick, and it's just Akron's just too good right now. I mean, Rowan had that nice clutch. I believe it was round 6. Yeah. He was just doing really great things, and he was really helping Akron achieve that scoreline. But yeah, I mean, these stats are not expected from the side of Cincinnati. You really expect the players that have been there in Cincinnati to have more of an impact. But I mean, next map we might see that. Akron's doing Akron things. All of their people no one's really falling behind. They're all keeping up with each other. And yeah, I mean, this next map, I hope it can be a little bit closer. It's a totally different play style of a map. I mean, we're playing Consulate here. Defender sided, one of the most defender sided that we're going to see today. And if Cincinnati can be better on the defense, then I see a much closer game. But yeah.
Yeah, going off of what Wacko said, Consulate will be our next map up on the docket. What I like to see from Consulate from Cincinnati is there is a lot of space that Gilly has to work with. I know he likes to just run around. As we saw, he was just sitting in random corners on Border. It doesn't really pay out because Border's a small map. Since our Akron can just push away from him and just create up some crazy pinches. But on Consulate, he has a lot of room to work with, a lot of space. You're going to see a lot of Vigil, a lot of Scopos from him. He's going to be everywhere and anywhere, and he's going to be causing so much havoc, or at least I hope he causes havoc for Cincinnati's sake. But nonetheless, we have our casters, Botanic and DJ, are ready, so we are going to send you guys to them for Consulate.
Well, thank you to our wonderful desk for setting us up for what should be a beautiful best of 5. We hope it will continue to get closer, and we're going to echo a lot of what they have said. It's DJ TJ, it's Botanic, and Botanic Akron have showed up. They've rolled the red carpet out, and they've balled out on Border. And we're going to go to Cincinnati's map pick next, but I'm a little worried.
I mean, hey, leave it to the kids from Akron to know some good game about ball there, but we do move on to Consulate. I mean, I'm more so expecting a better performance from Cincinnati. It's a much more strategical map. I'm expecting someone like DuckDuck to have done their homework properly. I mean, Consulate used to be one of the championship rosters for Cincinnati. It's one of their strongest maps in the pool. I'm expecting a much better game here, TJ.
I hope so too, but what I'm also worried about is how well can you do in the class if you study and your teacher is still strict? And that right there is the ruler slap on the hand that is the Akron Zips. And they are going to start on the attacking side on Consulate, but they've continued to show that maybe it doesn't matter. They are the unanimous best in all of Collegiate R6, and they're going to try to continue to prove that. And again, the score bug will be updated. The Zips took map 1. It is a best of 5, so we still got a long night ahead of us. Let's see the bands here, Botanic.
Yeah, it is Consulate, so maybe I'm expecting, obviously, Blackbeard, Blitz, Monty. Those are honestly just standard bans in modern-day competitive setting. All 3 of those operators have their strengths and weaknesses, sure, but they're still a shield regardless, as it is Blackbeard getting banned. Cincinnati, now with their attacker ban, maybe